Hello, welcome Oak Spirit Sanctuary. This is Amy, and I am doing a workshop today for Beltane on the chakras. This is in prep for the ritual that will be going on later on today. So get comfortable, and I hope you learn a few things. If you have any questions after this is posted, you can put it in the comments on the Facebook group, and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you. The histories of chakras. To understand chakras a little bit more, you need to understand where the theory of chakras come from. The oldest text that we have found originated in India, we believe, from text, and the texts are called the Vedas, and it was somewhere between 1500 and 500 BC. They've also been found in Thailand and other known places in the Lower Asian area. Each culture has its own name for it. Chakras is a Sanskrit word. That will be what we're using mostly for this video. The Sanskrit meaning for chakras is a spinning disc or wheel. So our imagination, when we have talked about chakras in the past, when you read books about it, it always talks about this spinning wheel. That's where that name comes from, that terminology. Modern Western chakra system, though, rose from a couple of different places, starting as early as the 1880s, following Sir John Woodruff's book, The Serpent Power. And then Charles Leadbeater, in 1927, wrote a book called The Chakras. You can still find it on Amazon. Careful, the first book I found was over $600. This is a re-edition, a new edition, but it still is the original book. Mind you, when you read it, it was wrote in the 1920s, so some of the terminology is a little different, slang is different, that kind of thing. The chakras are part of a light body of an individual. This, what I'm telling you, comes from traditional Thai medicine, which has some of the most in-depth descriptions of what chakras are that has been translated to English. There is one luminous point, and it's called the I Am, and that means the whole. Then there are 7 primary points, 3 upper, which is the throat, third eye, and crown, and then 3 lower, which is the root, sacral, and solar plexus. The heart is the combination between the 2, upper and lower. And just a little bit of information, there are 108 secondary chakras, also known as lone or wind gates, and 88,000 tertiary chakras. And all of these chakras are connected by sin lines, which are energy lines, pathways between all of them. The 3 upper chakras are considered transformation chakras. The 3 lower chakras are transmutation chakras. The heart chakra, anahata, means movement. And the microcosmic orbit, which we'll talk a little bit about later on, starts at the heart chakra. I'm really horrible about saying the Indian name for these, so I'm going to use the English names for them. So we're going to start going through the chakras and give you a little bit of information. And really think about this whenever you're going through the workshop, because we talk about harmony and disharmony within our chakras. And with that disharmony or harmony, that is where disease can come from, or things not being balanced. So think on that when we're going through these. So we're going to start with the root chakra. Malahat. I ain't pronouncing it. It's also the support chakra of our bodies. And where it is a physical chakra, it represents our physical form in this meat suit that we carry around. And the root chakra, is all about survival. Home, shelter, food, the basics of survival. It is a 4-petaled lotus. And inside the 4-petaled lotus is a square. And inside the square is a triangle. The triangle demonstrates the fundamental energy of Kundalini Shakti. This is important. Kundalini is a form of yoga that works on the chakras and works with the chakras to balance them. The location is at the base of the spine, between the anus and the genitals. The color is usually seen as red. The element that is associated with the root chakra is earth. The associated smells, or the associated scent with the root chakra is smell. Our age development for the root chakra is 1 to 8 years old. If you've had trauma in these age time frames, it can disrupt the flow of that chakra. Gemstones that help with the root chakra is bloodstones, garnets, hematite. Some smells, oils, is patchouli and myrrh. And if we've ever smelled patchouli and myrrh, it's very earthy. If you smell the earth, it kind of reminds me of patchouli. Positive and negative attributes that go with the root chakra is, the positive is patience. If your root chakra is in a good balance, you will show that you have a lot of patience for other people, yourself, in your environment. The negative aspect of it is greed. If you feel like you cannot get enough of something, you may want to look at your root chakra and see if it is either overdeveloped or underdeveloped. If your root chakra is in disharmony, your actions will revolve around material things and possessions and the world. You'll be more prone to violence. You'll have control issues, quick to rage, and lack of trusting yourself, trusting your environment, trusting people. But if your root chakra is in harmony, you can develop deep relationships with the earth and all life around you. You'll have more of a stable foundation for yourself in your life. Your self-esteem will be more stable. You'll also be trusting of yourself and the close ones around you, and the acceptance of yourself and others around you. Next is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is about your emotions, not the physical. It is about the emotional aspects of yourself. Can't pronounce it, but the Sanskrit word for the root or the sacral chakra means sweetness. It is a 6-petaled lotus containing a white circle that represents water, and within that white circle is a blue crescent, which represents the moon. Sexual desire, passion, and creativity is based in your sacral chakra. Also, emotional balance. The location of your sacral chakra is slightly above the genitals. The color is seen as orange. Leadbeater is the one who kind of put out these colors back in the 20s. That has been adopted for most of the world. The element for the sacral chakra is water. The associated sense is taste. And the age for development of your sacral chakra is 8 to 14 years old. And if you think about it, that kind of makes sense. That's where your sexual desires and passions are formed, your opinions on things like that. And that is the perfect time for when that chakra is developing to its extent. Gemstones to use when you're working with that chakra is moonstone, carnelian, and citrine. Oils are jasmine, rose, and sandalwood. Some of the negative and positive attributes to this chakra is the positive is purity and receptiveness. The negative is attachments and non-existence. Non-existence means that you don't feel connected to anyone or anything around you. A disharmony within your sacral chakra will show in an unbalanced sex drive, instability, feeling of isolation, impotency, things that work around our sexual organs and where that comes from. Harmony within your sacral chakra is being open and balanced within yourself. You will be attracted to the natural flow of life. The next is the solar plexus. It is rooted into your intelligence. This is where a lot of your intellectual thoughts, feelings about your intelligence, and how you connect with the world is based out of your solar plexus. I keep trying to pronounce these. I should know better. The Sanskrit meaning for this solar plexus is luminous gem. Your personal power and self-will is rooted in your solar plexus. It is a 10-petaled lotus with a downward pointing triangle within inside it. That downward pointing triangle represents fire. The location is at your navel. The color is seen as yellow or gold. The element is fire. Your associated sense with it is sight. The age is 14 to 21. And if you think about it, that makes sense too. Because at between 14 and 21, you're learning the higher developments of the brain, the higher intellectual concepts. It's also where wisdom starts forming, is within that time frame of your life. The gemstones associated with it is amber, sunstone, and citrine. The oils are chamomile, ylang ylang, and bergamot. The negative and positive attributes that go with this associations is the positive is radiance and perceptiveness. The negative is anger and manipulation. A disharmony within your solar plexus is where you feel the need to control others, to manipulate others. Your lack of self-worth is based in your solar plexus if it's in disharmony. Oversensitivity to criticism, addictive personalities, and aggressiveness. If your solar plexus is in harmony, you'll have a respect of yourself and others. You will have your own personal power. It is rooted there. You'll also be more spontaneous and uninhibited, which means you'll let yourself find the joy of life. So we've talked about the bottom 3 chakras. That's where transmutation comes from. And we'll get into this more of why they're broken up the way they are. The 3 lower chakras is based on your survival in living in this earthy plane. You can take the survival, your comforts, your food, the things you need for that, the connections with others, with your sacral, and then your harmony within yourself and your intelligence with your solar plexus are all based in the physical form of our bodies. The next is the heart chakra. When you're pulling energy through your chakras up through the center core of us, the I am, it has to hit the next is the heart chakra. That heart chakra is where they mingle together. It is the first of the spiritual chakras. It is based in your emotions. It also means movement, as we talked about what the anahata means, movement in Sanskrit. It also means unstuck. It helps you move forward in life. That as long as your heart chakra is moving and in harmony, then the 3 lower chakras can travel and transverse up to that. It is a 6-petaled lotus around a 6-pointed star. There are 2 triangles, one on top of the other, like a Star of David. One of the triangles represent the spirit descending into the body, and the bottom triangle is matter, body, rising to spirit. Your belief about love and relationship is based in your heart chakra. The location is the center of your chest. It's a little bit below where your heart is. You can feel a thudding there, kind of where your xiphoid process is. The colors that are associated with it are green and pink. The element is air. The associated sense is touch. The age is 21 to 28. During that time frame of our human existence is usually whenever we discover what true love is. Not just the love of our parents and the love of our friends. We learn at that point in time also the love of ourself, fully accepting our love of ourself. And then we learn to connect with other people and possibly children if we have them. That is a perfect time frame during that to develop that aspect of yourself. Gemstones that work with this is rose quartz, malachite, emeralds. The oils are rose and bergamot. The positive and negative attributes that go with this is the positive is devotions and generosity. The negative is restlessness and vanity. When you have a disharmony in your heart chakra, you would find yourself being more conditional with your love. You also can be more codependent, melancholy-ish. You have commitment issues. Cold and indifferent to others is a common trait when there's disharmony in your heart chakra. But if your heart chakra is in harmony, you will show that you have compassion. You'll learn what love is unconditionally, and you'll give it, and you'll be able to receive it. Nurturing, back to having children or animals, or you nurture your friendships, really start developing during this time frame when you're working with your heart chakra. Desires, spiritual experience during sex. The reason for that is if your sacral chakra is working functionally, but your heart chakra is closed down or not working properly, some people say spinning, some people say brightness, but if those two are not working together, then you'll feel a disconnect whenever you are having intimate relationships with other people. But if your heart chakra is open and working properly and in harmony with the rest of you, you'll find the most mundane things, such as holding hands, cuddling, will become a spiritual thing for you. The next is the throat chakra. The Sanskrit word for the throat chakra means purification. It is on the spiritual aspect of the chakras. Remember, the 3 lower are physical, 3 upper are spiritual. And it represents communications and self-expression. How you see and interact with the world is through the throat chakra. It is a 16-petaled lotus, and within the lotus is a triangle, which symbolizes speech and the full moon. The location is the base of the neck, right here at this part. Color is usually seen as blue. The element, though, is a little different than the rest of them. It is the ether. The associated sense is sound or hearing. The age for this chakra is 28 to 35 years old. Gemstones are turquoise, lapis, and sapphire. The oils are chamomile and myrrh. The positive and negative attributes for this is positive is unity and adventure. The negative is ego and destructiveness. When your throat chakra is in disharmony, it is difficult expressing self, arrogance, overtalkativeness, unreliability, full of fear, and judgmental thinking. Judgmental thinking of yourself and others. When your throat chakra is in harmony, you are a good communicator, usually artistically inspired about something, could be anything, and contentment in life and yourself. So now we're working with the throat chakra. The third eye and the crown are the spiritual aspects. When we were talking about the heart chakra, the 2 triangles within that, the top 3 are like this, and the bottom 3 are like this, and they interact. And the reason for that is these top 3, the throat, third eye, and crown, are working on a spiritual level. It is pulling that spiritual energy down into your heart chakra. So next we have the third eye. And it means to perceive, to know. It is a spiritual chakra that is based in your intelligence and wisdom. It is a 2-petaled lotus on each side of a circle. So you've got a circle with 2 petals on each side of it that look kind of like wings. And inside is a downward pointed triangle. This is a chakra of intuition and diplomacy. The location is above and between your eyebrows, about this area. The color is usually seen as indigo or violet. The element is light and telepathic energy. All senses are associated with this chakra. And the reason for that is for us to have the input of our environment, we need all of our senses. Our sense of taste, our sense of touch, smell, sight, and hearing, to develop into the 6th sense of our intuition. There is no age associated with this chakra. Gemstones are amethyst, fluorite, and azurite. The oils are violet, rose geranium, and mint. The negative and positive attributes for this is openness and objectivity is the positive. Distance and domination is the negative. When your third eye is in disharmony, you're overly logical. You're no longer in touch with your emotions. Very dogmatic, arrogant, undisciplined, and you have some prejudice. I'm sure all of us know some people with prejudice. And you also can look at them and watch that they don't have much intuition. But if your third eye is in harmony, you'll be charismatic, highly intuitive, and not so much attracted to materialistic things. Next is the crown chakra. It's the 7th chakra. The meaning for the crown chakra in Sanskrit is 1,000-fold. It is a spiritual chakra. It is not based in intellect or emotions. It is a transmutation chakra. It's where your personal energy interfaces with the universal energy that is all around us and from the divine, whatever divine you want to call it. It is seen as a 1,000-petaled lotus, which is synonymous with infinity and an interconnectedness with all things. It is located on the top of your head. Colors associated with it are violet, gold, and white. The element associated is thought and cosmic energy. Gemstones is amethyst, quartz, and diamond. The oils are lavender, frankincense, and lotus. There is no negative attributes to the crown chakra. It is either open or not. Whenever it is in disharmony, though, that's when you'll see psychotic and manic depressive instances within yourself or others, feeling of loneliness and disconnectedness from everything around you. You'll also be overly exhausted all the time with no physical reasons why, and severe indecisiveness because you're lacking the other chakras. You will need your crown chakra to be open or in harmony within itself to be able to be decisive. So whenever it's not, severe indecisiveness. When it is in harmony, you're at peace with yourself. You have a feeling of wholeness, a feeling of connectedness. So we've talked about the disharmony and harmony within every chakra. What that represents or translates to within the physical form of us, that if there's a disbalance or disharmony within the body or within our chakras, it leads to illness, either of our mind, body, or spirit. And if you think back, everything from psychotic to manic depressives to codependencies to expressing self, judgmental thinking, prejudice, all of those show some type of imbalance within you. Within Thai yoga medicine, one of the things that we learned was that there is usually an imbalance if there is illness. And there's an imbalance in our energetic form, in our energetic body, which then translates to the mental, emotional, or physical body. But when there is a harmony or balance within the energetic body, it leads to health and wholeness in all things. And this is seen in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, that when there's an imbalance in the energetic body, that translates directly to our physical. So if you notice, there were some, yes, this is Beltane. There were a few things that I mentioned that were specifically usually associated with Beltane. Well, this is where it comes into. Practice related to the chakras. So a lot of traditional medicines, and not just in the Ayurvedic, traditional Chinese, and Thai medicine, those call the energy bodies either chi, chakras, so forth. But all traditional medicines have some type of energetic body that they talk about. Yoga, which is based from India, is a practice directly related to the chakras per the Vedas. The Vedas were their oldest books, and I'm doing books in a loose term. Their oldest Vedas, which are their scriptures, their knowledge, talks about these energetic bodies, energetic points within our body. But within yoga, that word translates to join or to unite. So we're talking about the three lower and the three upper, and then connecting with the heart. Yoga in different forms, and traditional Veda shows only 4 yoga poses, not the hundreds that we see nowadays. There were 4 traditional oldest poses. Those yoga poses help you align your body and your chakras to the environment around you, to unite you with the environment around you and with the divine. And we can go into the different mythos and stories of yoga, and this workshop would be hours and hours long. So, but what is it trying to unite? It's trying to unite each other, to our environment, to nature, to the divine, to ourselves. How many of us feel disconnected with ourselves at some point in time in our life? That's what yoga does. And yoga can be as simple as breathing, feeling, getting in tune with yourself. And this unity, when you do find that unity, it is to unify you with Purusha. Purusha is growth, harmony, moving forward, to build, to become more. One of the practices within yoga is tantra yoga. See, Beltane. And the Sanskrit word meaning for tantra is the loom, warp, or weave. Metaphor meaning to weave. You're weaving yourself together to wholeness. You're weaving yourself together with someone else. You're weaving yourself together with the divine, with the cosmic energy that is all around us. So I've been practicing tantra yoga for a bit. And there's different forms you can hear about, you can read about. One that actually fits me best, and I'm going to list in the description or in the comment section some of the books that I have read. I've also done workshops and so forth. What works the most? Tantra is a spiritual science. It uses a method to dive within ourself, within our subconscious mind, to heal oneself in the physical that we are. Once we have healed ourselves physically through diving within ourselves, then we can connect to our higher self and the divine or the cosmic consciousness, whatever you want to call it, the connectedness that has been shown between us and everything around us. Kundalini is a yoga, specific form of yoga within Tantra that is a practice. So Tantra is a spiritual science. Kundalini is the practical aspect of it. That's when you'll hear the Kundalini, different poses for Kundalini, or the Kundalini breathing. That is the actual physical practice of doing Tantra, which is a spiritual science. The word Kundalini, the noun of it means snake, or it's a circular, and it goes up within us. It is a yogic life force that is held to lie, coiled at the base of our spine, which is the root chakra, until it is aroused and sent to the head to trigger enlightenment. So visualize just for a few minutes that in the base of us, the base of our root chakra, is this coiled serpent. And as it transverses up through the core of us, up through our luminous body, if it hits any disharmony within our energy centers, it stops. But if our energy centers are balanced and in harmony, it will continue to rise all the way up ourselves, up through the center core of our bodies, until it reaches the top. And then it breaks through our crown chakra and then connects us to everything that is within us and without us. And that's what it means for Kundalini awakening. And when you break through that crown with your Kundalini energy, the serpent that is within all of us, then we are also receptive to everything that may be the universe coming down and trying to give us messages and to heal us. The microcosmic orbit, which is similar within the same realm of knowledge, but it's not exactly the same. Kundalini travels upward within us to the crown. The microcosmic orbit is energy that is traveling downward through the chakras. So we've got the Kundalini that's coming up, we've got the microcosmic orbit that is the divine, the energy of the world, the universe, all that is, coming down and meeting together and mingling within ourselves. Once you've harmonized all of your chakras and you can feel that Kundalini rising and you break through, then you can start the download of energy from the microcosmic world, everything. And then whenever they hit your heart, then you become one with everything. That's when people talk about the tantric experiences, the pure bliss, the pure love. So, I have a couple of poems. I'll get to them. So far, we've talked about the history of chakras. It is old. It is very old. And humans kind of, Western world, kind of took it and ran with it without learning the history and the sacredness of it. We mentioned at one point Kundalini Shakti. There's a story within the Indian mythos about Shakti and how it creates and it grows, which we don't really touch on because it takes hours and hours to learn these things. I know whenever we get to the ritual that is later today, that is to harmonize your chakras. There's a lot of work you have to do with it. This is a beginning step. And if you want to continue, read some of the books that I'm going to post about Tantra and the Kundalini. And there's a lot of really good steps out there. You do not have to do some of the weird yoga practices that you've heard that is associated with Kundalini. Kundalini is a practical of your energy rising up through your body. Tantra is an Ayurvedic yogic practice of healing oneself from the inside out, to delve into your self-conscious and heal ourselves. So, there's a couple poems. There's one on By Sir Chimney, and it is a tantric poem. Love is not a thing to understand. Love is not a thing to feel. Love is not a thing to give or receive. Love is the only thing to become and eternally be. Without love for yourself, for your environment, for your friends, for family, the universe, each other, you're disassociated from them. And humans are never meant to be disassociated from each other. So love is eternal. The next is specifically Kundalini poem. A curled black serpent ascends, her piercing eyes hell-bent on kissing. 7 white lotus buds placed along spine. With each peck, buds blossom in ecstasy, reversing that illusionary mirror of duality, making dreamer and his dream one. That is from Nectar Descends. I found these online, free format. So, this is the conclusion of our workshop. I hope you learned a few things. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you would like more information, I'll have some books listed. There's really good books out there. Some of them you can get from the 1920s that are now published. Some you cannot. But working with your chakras is not an easy, but it is easy task. But the end goal of working with them and finding balance and harmony within yourself is well worth it. So, I hope you have a good day, and blessed be.